We got UFC 298 in Anaheim. This is fight week, UFC 298 in Anaheim. Another banger of a card. At least it's not like UFC 300 or even UFC 299 level yet, but it's looking pretty good, you know. So the main event is obviously Volkan Topuria for the featherweight belt, and then you got Cejudo Marab in there as well, which is a very interesting matchup. And yeah, I can't wait for these fights as well. Let's take a look at. I'm only going to talk about maybe like the last 6 fights on the card, you know. So we got Amanda Lemos and Mackenzie Dern, which is could be a banger of a fight. I mean, Mackenzie coming off a loss. You know, she's 13-4 now. She got a brutal, pretty much stoppage loss against Jessica Andrade. Andrade just basically showed that there's levels to this. You can't come in here and try to bang with me with your chin up, throwing bombs. You know, Mackenzie is a lot of toughness. She showed a lot of heart in that fight, but she needs to be able to get the fight to where she's the best at. She's one of the best in the world in jiu-jitsu, world champion level 4-time, I believe. You know, fought the best in jiu-jitsu and hasn't really been able to showcase it so much in the UFC as much. And I think maybe she's just, trying to work on her stand-up game. I believe she changed camps before the last fight. So, I mean, not with Jason Perillo anymore. I might be wrong on that, but I think there was, her boxing definitely took a hit, and I would like to see her come back strong in this fight. Lemos is another beast, type fighter, really tough, good on the feet, so this is another big test for Mackenzie Dern, at the top of this division, the strawweight, that's where I think strawweight and flyweight, where, most of the good women fighters are right now. And this is going to be another, and who doesn't want to see Mackenzie Dern? I mean, she's got good personality, cakes for days. I mean, so I mean, I can't wait to see this fight. I want to see how she bounces back from that Andrade loss, because that was pretty bad. I mean, that was brutal. We never seen, it was almost like, stop the fight, like, I don't want to see her get beat up like that, but, Andrade is a freaking beast, another animal in there, just, you can't make too many mistakes on there on the feet. You got to implement your game plan and maybe get her tired or whatever, but she also has a good gas tank, so she's just too much power, you know what I'm saying? And if you don't have that, those chops, on the feet, then you got to just do it on the ground where you're the best at. And I don't know if that's something where obviously if your stand-up gets better, it could lead to the grappling, but I also feel like you need to up your wrestling game. Same thing with like Brian Ortega. Like, his boxing wasn't the problem. It's like wrestling, you need to get to the fight to the ground where you're the best at. Like if you're the best jiu-jitsu player out there, you got to get the fight there where you can do your thing, and implement your game. You can't sit in the pocket and bang with these guys who are better at it, been doing it for years. I mean, you can do it, but you're going to get beat up. It's like you're not giving yourself the best opportunity to win. So I think you got to up your wrestling game. Then you could dictate, like Mackenzie Dern or Brian Ortega on top. That's dangerous, for anyone. You know what I mean? So, that's like Tap City, Triangle City, T City, Mackenzie Dern. I mean, she on top, she's smashing. You know what I mean? So she needs to get the fight there, though. That's the thing with jiu-jitsu. They don't have the best takedowns. It's more judo-based, so it's a lot of throws, stuff like that, and you're more comfortable on your back. You're pulling guard, you're whatever. You want to get the fight there. But if you need to up your wrestling game where you could dictate where that fight takes place, then now you have no choice but to go into their world where she is the best at, or one of the best, in the world. So, yeah, that's definitely a fight I'm looking forward to. Obviously, I always look forward to Mackenzie. I'm trying to go to this fight still. Trying to talk to wifey, let's go, but I don't know yet. Let's see if it's in the cards. I might have to just grab up some tickets and go. It's right here. It's like 45 minutes to an hour away from me. It's right there. Banger of a card. I mean, who doesn't want to see all that? It's right here. It's my backyard, basically. So that's the first fight I'm going to look at. That's like I think that's the prelim main event. And then the actually main card is opening up with a banger as well. Actually, freaking Roman Kopylov versus Anthony Hernandez. And this is going to be a great fight because I don't know too much about Hernandez. Yeah, I'm a little, even though, I have it could be my cousin. I don't know. My last name's Hernandez. But Roman Kopylov, man, this guy is a beast. I seen him at UFC 291 in Utah getting knockouts, and then he got another knockout recently. His head kick game, he's sick. He's sick with it. So, I mean, I'm excited for this fight. You got 11-2, 12-2, both guys 6 foot. This is at middleweight 185. Huh, interesting. Yeah, I wasn't even really aware of their fight. But same reach, 75-inch reach. I mean, this is going to be a banger for sure. Hernandez fights like a Mexican warrior, so this is going to be a banger. And you got Kopylov, who's just technical as it comes. Those head kicks are devastating and nasty. And I can't wait for this fight. What a fight to open up the main card. I think this has got banger written all over it. Maybe performance of the night. There's some kind of bonus in this fight for sure. But it's another tough card to, because the main event is so good. So on this card as well, which brings us to the second fight, which is kind of crazy. Second fight is Henry Cejudo and Merab Dvalishvili. I can never say the name. Dvalishvili. You got to just say it. Just do it. Don't think about it. So Henry Cejudo, 16-3, Triple C, Olympic gold medalist wrestling. We know that. He's flyweight champ, former bantamweight champ, lost to Aljo in his last fight, who trains with Merab. So they're training partners. And Merab, he brings both these guys are 5'4" against 5'5", both midgets. You know what I mean? So, Cejudo 5'4" with his heels on. I don't know. And then you got the reach advantage is going to go to Merab, 68-64, which is kind of big, honestly. But, 5'6" against 5'4". So he's a lot taller. He's going to try to look down on Cejudo on this one. But Merab coming off performances where he's had like 50 freaking takedown attempts, 40-something takedown. He's not going to stop shooting for the takedowns. But, is he going to be at that level to be able to take down Cejudo? Aljo was able to, but Aljo's got he's a little longer. He's got that little bit, the reach. He's got a little strength. I don't know. Like I said, his grappling has really transitioned well, to MMA. And I think Cejudo could learn from that fight, obviously, where to be in the cage, where the danger zones are. And Merab gets a little too, predictable. That could definitely work in Cejudo's favor. Like if he just comes and shoots and doesn't get any takedowns, he's going to be relentless with it. He's going to keep coming, but Cejudo's a little bit definitely better on the feet. He has that kind of Machida kind of almost karate style, like Wonder Boy, like where he kind of bounces in and out, throws a lot, and he's not worried too much about the takedowns. And maybe he's probably wrestling like crazy in this camp, and maybe he'll just try to implement his wrestling game against Merab. We never really seen Cejudo like take people down and hold them. A lot of, he does not wrestle people. He took DJ Demetrius Johnson down in their rematch a couple times, but wasn't able to really hold him down. So, he don't really seem like he has that style so much, like where he can hold people down. It's more about just throw you down real quick, overpower you or control you. But I'm anxious to see if Cejudo is going to come with a wrestling heavy game plan, or is he going to come and try to keep us standing and just piece him up from the stand up. From the outside, which I feel like Cejudo can do. If this fight does stay standing, I feel like Cejudo can get the victory. I think it's tailor-made. I don't think Merab's going to be able to take down Cejudo like he thinks he is. But the thing is also is he's going to if he outworks Cejudo and constantly keeps him on the defensive and just constantly shooting, then if not a lot happens on the feet, not a lot of damage, the aggressor is still going to get the nod from the judges just from the constant pressure and constantly in your face and pushing the action and making the fight, pressing the fight. So that's something that's going to be interesting to see, like who implements their game plan. Does Merab get discouraged if he can't take down Cejudo, or does he just keep going for it? So that's interesting. I can't wait to see this fight. I'm leaning Cejudo just because of the wrestling pedigree, and I'm pretty sure he's training crazy wrestling, wrestling heavy training camp right now because he knows Merab's going to keep trying to take him down over and over again. So, that's why I can't wait to see. Interesting fight for sure. See where Cejudo's, if he can get back in it, back into the mix right here with the win. Merab, he's right there. Now Aljo's moved up. So if he wins this fight, he kind of already was next in line. He should have been. O'Malley, Chito, they have their beef. So that's kind of why Chito skipped the line. Chito already beat him, so this is, Merab was kind of right there. A lot of people are upset about, but Merab had an injury, so it's out of your control. So interesting fight to see though. Two grapplers, like based fighters. That'll bring us to another possible freaking banger of the night for sure, most likely a banger, and that's going to be in a welterweight division. Jeff Neal against Ian Machado Gary. Ian's getting a lot of hate lately because the whole wife thing, cuck, whatever. I mean, it's what it is. What it is. It is what it is at this point. I mean, Gary's an exciting fighter, 13-0 from Ireland. He's kind of like an overgrown, outspoken, overgrown, like taller Connor. Like when you hear him talk, Irish, so they both sound similar. He's not as good on the mic, a little more cringy, but 13-0. I mean, he's getting finishes after finish. So I mean, this is a huge test though, because Jeff Neal is tough as it gets. I mean, he's going to have a slight reach advantage, Jeff O'Neal. He's going to be a lot shorter, though, 5'11 against 6'3". So, but Jeff Neal's got some great hands, great boxing, unbelievable toughness, and, I mean, he can bang. He can bang. So it's like this is a huge test for Gary. It's hard for me I don't even have a pick on this yet or anything like that. I got to watch both these guys a little more. But, I mean, Jeff Neal is tough. He's been in some bangers with Shavkat. I mean, just crazy wars. I mean, and he's like I said, he has some hands. He's tough. He hits hard. He's got power. He's definitely going to test Gary in every way possible in MMA in this fight. So, I mean, this is a huge test for Gary. I mean, this is a big jump. And I'm anxious for this fight as well. I mean, this is another banger of a fight. Could definitely be a fight night main event, whatever. I mean, on this one for sure. But, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if Gary can, because he was supposed to fight and he pulled out, like he got pneumonia or something like that the week of the fight. So, I mean, this is going to be interesting right here to see if he could move up to that next level, because definitely Jeff Neal is that next level. And I can't wait for this fight. Let me know what you guys think on that one. Who's taking that one? I think, like I said, Gary gets a lot of hate, but I think a lot of people are still picking him to win the fight. And that's going to bring us to the co-main event, which has been a long time coming, actually. Paulo Acosta against Robert Whittaker. Robert Whittaker coming off a loss against Dricus du Plessis. Or did he win this last one? No, he did lose that one. Okay, Paulo Acosta coming off a win, but he hasn't fought in a long time. Like, Paulo Acosta has been definitely inactive. He has not fought. I mean, he's pulled out of a lot of fights. His pull-out game is a lot better than mine. That's why I got snipped. But you know what I mean? So he definitely has some pull-out game of his fights, but this fight's less than a week away. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Don't try to stop it. But I can't wait to see this fight. I mean, Whittaker, after getting kind of rocked and beat up a little by Dricus du Plessis, I mean, I don't know if this is a change for him. Like, maybe he's not the same class of fighter. Obviously, he's great, Robert Whittaker. Yeah, so after that last loss from Robert Whittaker, devastating DDP, I don't know. I'm kind of leaning Costa. I can't lie. Costa is going to be he hasn't fought in a while, so obviously he's a little fresher. But, I mean, it's been a long time since he's fought, a couple of years. I don't even know how long it's been, but it's been a minute. He's pulled out of fights and all that, like I said. I'm just thinking, I'm leaning Costa just because of recency bias, if you will. Just, Whittaker, just, I'm not saying he didn't look good. He looked pretty good that first round, but you kind of tell DDP was just sizing him up and filling him out. And it seemed like when he pushed the pace, he was able to manhandle him a little bit. Costa's a huge middleweight. I don't know how he even freaking makes weight, to be honest with you. I mean, he's, they're both 185, whatever, but I mean, 6'1", Costa is tall, 6 foot, just like I said, a lot thicker. He's jacked. I mean, underwear model type dude, whatever. I mean, clean cut. So I'm saying he's a big dude. He's fast, explosive. I mean, he's rounded. I mean, he hasn't showed a whole lot of the ground game, but because he likes to stand and bang, but I mean, he's been in a couple wars, him and Yoel Romero, classic crazy fight. I mean, Whittaker, I'm not sure. He's more of a tactician in there, I think. Game plan, good jab, good movement, good wrestling. He's rounded everywhere as well. Dangerous, good jiu-jitsu. So, I mean, he might have a little bit of wrestling edge maybe, but Costa's just going to have, I think, overall power edge. And he's going to have a little bit more just explosiveness. He's more dangerous, I think, to end the fight. But, I mean, we'll see. If this goes the distance, I mean, it might mean Whittaker's doing his thing, staying on the outside with that long jab, staying out of danger, maybe even getting a couple takedowns. I could see that happening. But I feel like Costa, I'm leaning Costa in this fight. And I love Whittaker. Been watching him forever. I mean, the Reaper, he's a beast. So rounded, one of the most rounded fighters in the UFC. But I mean, just for more recent what's happened, it remains to be seen if what the effect of the DDP loss will have on him. I mean, he beats Costa, he's right back in the mix for a title shot. Maybe he'll fight Strickland, or he'll just fight straight up DDP next. Now that Izzy's, out of the. I'm not saying Izzy's out of the title picture. He's always going to be in that title picture, but I'm saying he's may possibly not next in line. So I mean, Whitaker will have a case if he could go out there and smash Costa like he's saying he wants to finish him. So I mean, if he does that, then who knows? I mean, he could get that title shot once again, against. Get that title shot, against get his rematch. But I mean, I don't know if he'll be right. I don't know if they're gonna do a rematch that quick. You know what I'm saying? So that's gonna be a tough one to call. But like I said, I'm leaning. But yeah, I'm leaning. I think I got Costa for that fight, and we'll see what happens after that. And that brings us to the main event. UFC 298's main event. Ilia Topuria challenging Alexander Volkanovski for his belt, and this fight right here, like this, I mean, I don't even want to give my pick yet. I want to talk about it a little bit. A lot of people think Volkanovski is returning to the action a little too fast after taking a devastating head kick knockout loss at lightweight on short notice against Islam Makhachev. So I mean, he took the fight. He said himself, admittedly, he was off the couch. He wasn't training. He looked a little pudgier. He's a little tank for sure. 5'6". Fireball, wrecking ball, So, I mean, he's huge. He's jacked himself. He was walking around probably 175, 180, had to cut to 155 and look, and he lost, he got knocked out first round. So, I mean, it's a quick turnaround, few months, 2-3 months to come back and now have to cut even more weight to go down to 145. Just keep in mind, 2 out of his last 3 fights have been at lightweight at 155. So, I mean, now he's actually having to cut that extra 10 pounds. And he's been talking for a couple years now about moving up to lightweight. So maybe that weight cut is tough. Like I said, he's jacked. He's a tank. So, I mean, he has cut a lot of weight, get sucked down. He's always made weight. He is kind of like the featherweight GOAT pretty much. I mean, I still feel like Aldo has a strong case. I mean, he lost to Holloway and Volk, the other two, legends in featherweight. But a little later in his career, I mean, he was undefeated for 10 years. I mean, until these guys are like at that status, I mean, Volk right now, he is the best. He's champ for a reason, great champ. All that being said, I mean, I'm leaning Ilia. I'm actually picking Ilia Topuria. I mean, this guy is a beast. He's a freaking juggernaut. I mean, I don't know. It's hard. Lightning fast hands. Devastating power in both hands. Great jiu-jitsu. I mean, Spaniard. I mean, he has a great following, huge following. You know what I mean? So, I mean, social media-wise. So, he could be the next star in the making. If he goes out there and blasts Volk like he's claiming he's going to do, like he's saying this is going to be the easiest fight in his career. It's going to be a one-round massacre. They're not even going to want a rematch because, he's going to beat Volk so easily and so badly. You know what I mean? He's going to knock him out. And, I mean, he says it with such confidence. He's wearing the bout on his his social media pages, like, and he's just already claiming to be champ, wanting to fight Max Holloway. You know what I mean? Imagine if he takes out Volk, then comes back and takes out Max. That's like 2 GOATs right there, kind of like what Volk did. You know what I'm saying? And he's undefeated. I was going to say all finishes, but actually his last fight was a banger against Josh Emmett. I mean, he basically dominated Josh Emmett kind of everywhere. I mean, obviously Josh Emmett had his moments. He's a freaking killer, hardest hitter in featherweight history, probably. I mean, just knocking people out. And I mean, and Topuria was able to eat those shots and keep a fast pace for 5 rounds. They were on a crazy pace. And Emmett, like I said, he's always dangerous. 5th round, he was still in there throwing bombs. I think he won the 5th round. He came out guns blazing, all busted up and bloodied up, and really lost pretty much, I feel like, every round up until that point. I did give Josh the 5th. I mean, but it just seemed like Topuria was a step ahead, like in the wrestling and even in the ground exchanges, and also on the feet, just with that jab. He's so quick with his counters and his footwork, and he's really defensive. He's defensively responsible. Like, he throws his fast combos and then he's covering up right away and getting his hands back up. So I mean, he's not really taking a lot of damage as well, like, because he's rolling with punches, he's getting in and out of there. And he's explosive, and his ground game, like what he did to Bryce Mitchell, hurt him on the feet, choked him out on the mat. I mean, tapped him pretty freaking quick. I believe it might have been an arm triangle, but he tapped freaking quick. Maybe it was just one of those situations he was gassed. But anyway, Topuria is a freaking wrecking ball. Ryan Hall. I mean, like the one thing I see, like, and a lot of people are claiming or like comparing his rise and his trash talk and just kind of build up to this fight as like a Conor. Like when Conor came out, obviously Conor's way funnier. Catch, on my own fucking belt. All his, catchphrases and just being funny as hell. Who the fuck are you? Just all his shit, dude. He's just hilarious. No, there's only one Conor, but they're talking about just the way he has the potential because he already has a big following, like in social media wise in Spain, he's huge. So, I mean, and he's already acting like he's champ. So, I mean, he has all the confidence in the world and he should, because he's pretty much destroying everyone. Even like I said, Josh Emmett's one of the toughest guys out there. So you don't finish Josh Emmett. It's like, dude, you like try not to get knocked out by Josh Emmett for 25 minutes. I mean, that's a tough task for anyone. He just knocked somebody out at UFC 296. So, I mean, Bryce Mitchell, actually. Yeah, so, I mean, that guy is just crazy. I mean, tail of the tape, I mean, we got 26-3, Volk, 14-0, Topuria. Like I said, just destroying everyone. From Germany, actually Spain / Georgia. Yeah. But then 5'7", 5'6", so pretty even there. Volk does have longer reach, 71.5 to 69, so 2.5 reach advantage there, which could be a factor. And I feel like for Volk to win this fight, he definitely have to get the leg kick game going, get the feints, heavy feints, good jab, try to disrupt Ilya's timing coming in because he's going to be stalking, trying to get it, find an opening moving forward. And I think leg kicks could be, they both kind of been susceptible to head kicks. Recently, Volk just got knocked out by a head kick. Islam Topuria has been dropped from a head kick in the past, but came back to win. But that being said, neither one of these guys are really big head kickers, but I could see a Volk doing it, like I said, a heavy feint game like usual, and also his leg kicks. If he comes in with low calf kicks and leg kicks, that could disrupt Topuria's timing, but it could also open up the counter right hand if he gets too predictable with the leg kicks. And Topuria, like I said, he's lightning fast, explosive, devastating power. So it's like and with his boxing pedigree, although he's pretty young, I see him like being kind of seasoned where he might not bite on all the feints, that Volk throws at him, and he might just start timing that early. He's predicting a 1 round like devastation, like he's just going to run through Volk. I mean, I could see him landing something big on Volk, but I also see if it, goes into the later rounds that Volk could take over with his leg kicks and feints and jab and maybe mix in some wrestling here and there. Like Volk's probably a little better wrestler than Topuria, but if Topuria gets in a situation where he like hurts Volk, takes him down, ends up on top, it might be a wrap for Volk. I mean, Brian Ortega wasn't able to tap Volk when he had him in a couple situations, but I feel like Topuria might be able to do that, especially if he hurts him on the feet first. You know what I'm saying? It's a big difference when you get rocked and then you're trying to defend stuff on the ground. And I just feel like Topuria, it might be his time right now. The guy is a beast. He's so fast. And I think the timing of it also, Volk coming off a head kick loss, 2-3 month turnaround, having to cut weight again, even more weight. I just think, and he's been getting hit recently. He's showing that he's hittable and more human, than he did against like Max. Max, he just looked like a step above Max, and he just has his number. But this might be the time. I mean, Volks has teased his last 2 out of 3 fights have been at lightweight. He's been saying he wanted to move up, like probably a permanent, move. He's been talking about that for a couple years. So I mean, who knows how hard that weight cut is, that extra 10 pounds, and I think it come into play. And I think Topuria, like right now, could be his time. He's already talking about Max next or O'Malley. He's got beef. The guy has beef with O'Malley. O'Malley he's talking about moving up if he gets past Tito. Chito. Yeah, if he gets past Chito, then he could move up to fight Topuria if he wins. I mean, there's a lot of potential for Topuria. Like I said, he's bringing a lot of heat, bringing a lot of excitement to this division, and it'll open things up. And like I said, I'm picking Anu. Topuria, I'm thinking it's a finish in the first 2 or 3 rounds. I'm thinking, I think he's going to catch him early and maybe hurt him. But I don't know, though. It's like I said, Volk is a seasoned veteran. He's tough as it comes. I don't think it's going to be a first round devastation like that. I mean, that confidence has probably got to, because Volk, there's nobody more confident than Volk, you know what I mean? But Topuria, I mean, I think he might be able to get under Volk's skin a little bit. It might bother him a little bit just to be looked at like disrespected almost. So, I mean, we'll see how this fight week goes. I can't wait. Like 6 days away now. Anaheim, UFC 298. Like I said, it's going to be you. Let me know what you guys think. Like, subscribe.